Right now, former Vice President Joe Biden leads President Donald Trump by a little more than 4,000 votes here in Georgia, with thousands of ballots still left to be counted. Poll workers in Gwinnett County were planning to work through the night, but were brought to a halt by some unexpected technical issues. And that is where we find our John Sherrick right now with more about the problem and when we could have a final count. Hey, John.
A computer malfunction shut everything down in Gwinnett County unexpectedly, and everyone had to go home for the night. They'll be back at 9 in the morning to resume the count with the IT folks with them to make sure the count continues smoothly. They hope to have everything counted here in Gwinnett County by Sunday. And when everything will be counted across the state, the Secretary of State says he can only hope soon. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger at the state capitol telling the world watching to see who wins Georgia that when counting votes, it's more important to be accurate than fast.
To ensure every legal ballot is counted and no illegal ballots are counted.
That's the state's response to President Trump questioning whether Georgia's elections processes are flawed, even fraudulent, as if stealing the election from him and his Georgia voters.
If any member of the public raises legitimate concerns, we'll investigate those. We are committed to doing anything and everything to maintaining trust in our electoral process here for every Georgian, regardless of partisan preference.
And Gabriel Sterling with the Secretary of State's office says his hope is that counties will certify their vote counts before their November 13th deadline so that everyone will know the count and then move on to what's likely next.
And so we have a little bit more time and wiggle room to deal with what we know will likely be a recount. Everybody's exhausted. It's Friday. There's a Georgia game tomorrow. It's kind of a big one. We got to focus on the really important things in this state sometimes in order to recover, to be prepared for dealing with what is now a vital thing for this country.
So the state says it's possible all 159 Georgia counties could be complete with their counts by early next week in a race, a presidential race, that is so close, a recount is likely.